Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Kat, the wedding era. That's correct. We have a new name. We are no longer Chats with Kat. We are Catching Up with Kat. Chats with Kat was a copyright that I was infringing on, and so we have pivoted, and I love our new name. So I figured, in honor of the new name, I would host a solo podcast episode this week just to kind of go over a few things, catch you guys up. And I've received a lot of questions on social media from people that I thought I would just answer long form here today. So that's what this episode's going to be, a little Q&A about my wedding planning and anything else that people have to ask. And I'm just really excited about this new era. So if you're listening, thank you so much for tuning back in. And I'm really excited about catching up. So let's get into it. Let's get into some of the questions I've received. Okay, the first question is, where am I currently in my wedding planning process? I am about 150 some days away from the wedding. We have gotten a lot done. We've not stalled, but no big movement since last week's episode, since our last catch up. But the next time you hear from me, no, in 2 weeks when you hear from me, I'm going to have so much to catch you guys up on because this week, I'm recording this on Friday, January 30th. This will come out on Sunday. And then the following Wednesday, I'm flying down to the south of France, to Nice, and I'm going to meet my mom who's flying in from New York. And we are going to do the food tasting, the venue tour, pick out all the linens, the flowers, hair and makeup trial. It's going to be such a crazy couple days down in the south of France. I'm so excited to do all of this. And I'm going to take you guys along with me. There'll be a vlog on YouTube and content on social media if you want to follow along and catch up. But of course, I'll debrief it with you guys here on the podcast. But yeah, next week's going to be a really, really big week. And speaking of which, another really exciting thing that's going to happen next week is that my mom is going to finally meet G's family. And my mom's met his brother many times in London. And actually, his brother came to stay with us in the Hamptons this summer for a little bit. So his brother's well acquainted with my family, with my mom, my dad, everybody. But our parents haven't met yet. So that's really exciting. That's going to happen next week. And I'm excited about kind of checking that off the list, and they're going to get along really well. We're just going to go out to dinner in Cannes one night and, share a bottle of wine and enjoy each other's company. So that's going to be so exciting. Next question is, how has wedding planning been different from what I imagined it would be? It's been really different, to be honest. I thought that wedding planning was going to be this really magical, really serene experience in my life, and it's not been magical, but it's been more stressful than I had anticipated. So if you're in your bridal era and you're planning your wedding and it's overwhelming, I'm right there with you. It's going to be okay. We're going to get to the other side of this. And just keep reminding yourself that this is happening once in your life and it's going to be stressful. There's going to be moments that are overwhelming and the budget and X, Y, and Z. It's a lot. But unless you are an event planner, your life doesn't revolve around planning huge events once a year, multiple times a year. This is a once in a lifetime event. You're going to get through it and just take deep breaths. I keep reminding myself to take deep breaths. Should we take one together? Let's do it. That helped calm me down a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, just remember that it is stressful. It's been stressful for me. I keep reminding myself that this is only happening once. We don't have to do this every other year, every year. It's okay that I don't know how to plan a huge party for 100 people. Why am I supposed to know how to do that? That's why we have an incredible wedding planner. And that's a big tip. Get a wedding planner if you can afford it in your budget. My wedding planner has been so phenomenal. I'm going to meet her in person next week. I'm so excited. But I mean, we FaceTime all the time. We're always in Zoom meetings going over everything. So I feel really well acquainted with her. But if you have room in your budget, I highly recommend getting a wedding planner, especially if you're doing a destination wedding. The next question is, what was my original wedding vision when we first got engaged versus what it looks like now? Oh my gosh. Okay, when we first got engaged, we got engaged in Porquerolles, which is a little island off the south of France. And that island means so much to G and I. We've been there many times. It's where we said I love you for the first time. It's where we got engaged. And we kind of always said for the past 3 years that we would get married in Porquerolles with just our parents. And when we first got engaged, we were there. We were like, we'll get married here. It'll be great. And to be honest, kind of quickly spiraled into what has turned out to be a much larger wedding. And I'm really excited for that. I think we're all really excited for it. We were super happy with it being really small and intimate. And then we just kind of thought, why not? Let's have a party. Let's celebrate. Everyone was so excited for us. I'm not an only child. I have a half brother and a step brother that are much younger than me. But in a lot of ways, I am an only child. I'm the only girl. And I think that my family really wanted to throw a wedding and host it and have it be special. And I'm really glad that they encouraged us to do that because it's going to be just so much fun and I'm really, really looking forward to it. And of course, like his family is so excited. It's going to be phenomenal. But yeah, our original wedding plan was us to basically elope to Porquerolles with just our parents. And it's not going to be that. It's going to be a little bit more expensive and a lot more people. So that's how it's changed. The next question is, how did we decide on a wedding budget in the first place? I'm really struggling with that. So, wedding budgeting. This is a good question. We got engaged in September. I went back home to America in like the very end of September, early October for a friend's wedding. And during that, my mom and I were driving from the Hamptons to Boston for the wedding, and we were listening to podcasts about wedding planning. And I think it was the Girls Gotta Eat podcast. And they had on a guest that was a wedding planner, and they were talking about budgeting. What the wedding planner was saying in that podcast is that your budget is kind of like the first thing you need to nail down before you start planning your wedding because it impacts everything, every decision. And that the best way to figure out what your budget is to start with an astronomically high number, say like $1 million. Ask yourself, are you comfortable spending $1 million at this wedding? No. Are you comfortable spending $500,000 at the wedding? No. Are you comfortable spending $100,000 at the wedding? Are you comfortable spending $50,000 at the wedding? Are you comfortable spending $25,000 at the wedding? Like whatever that number is, you start high and figure out what number you feel comfortable with. And then everything else will fall underneath that number versus being like, I want XYZ PDQ, and now your budget's through the roof. If you have a number, then you can kind of curate everything else to fit within that number and budget. And if you have a great wedding planner, they will really help adjust that for you and support you around your budget. If your wedding planner is going above your budget, not supporting your budget, taking a percentage, a big red flag. Careful of wedding planners that are taking a percentage of your wedding. Your wedding planner should be supportive of your budget. And if you are getting pushed around with budgets with your wedding planner, that's something that you really have to look into and address pretty quickly and nip it in the butt. Otherwise, it's going to roll into a really big tsunami that you don't know how to undo. In terms of the budget question, I feel like now is a really good time to bring up something that I've been dealing with as a bride, is that we have Pinterest and we have TikTok and we have Instagram and all of those incredible inspiration boards for your wedding and what you want it to look like. And those are exactly what that is. That's inspiration. And I think that a lot of people feel a lot of pressure to have a wedding be that elaborate and that over the top. And I need this and I need that. And I need customized everything. And if you have the budget for it, go for it. Like that, this is your day. Have the best time. But if you can't afford it, don't beat yourself up over it. Just take inspiration from those photos and talk to your wedding planner or your family or your friends, whoever's helping you plan this wedding, about how you can take inspiration from those photos and apply it to your day. And also be really realistic about where your wedding is, what season your wedding is, because, for instance, I was seeing like these gorgeous swans made of butter, and I love butter, and my fiance loves butter, and butter, everyone loves butter. Who doesn't like butter? And I was like, oh, we need to have swans made of butter. Our wedding is in July in the south of France. Those butter swans are going to melt in 2 seconds. Like, that's not necessary. That's ridiculous. So think about stuff like that. Like, we can't even have an ice sculpture. It's going to melt. But I do know that I feel a little bit of pressure. I think most people feel pressure of seeing these gorgeous $1 million weddings on social media and feeling like maybe your wedding doesn't stack up or you can't compete. And like, that's so silly, because genuinely, everyone that's going to be at your wedding is there because they love you, because they support you, because they want to be there for your big day. They're not coming to go to some ridiculous event. You don't need to overly impress them. You just need to be real and be present and enjoy your day as much as possible, and know that your wedding is going to be so incredibly beautiful. So just take a little bit of pressure off of yourself and remember, like, those photos from Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram and whatever, like, those are your inspiration. It doesn't need to be your gold standard. Have there been any budget related stress moments or reality checks? Yeah, totally. So we have our set budget, and there are things that we have had to switch around a bit because of that budget. So for instance, I really wanted a specific videographer, and we had a set budget for our photos and videos. and our photographer was X, and our videographer then tipped us over our allotted budget that I wanted to spend for photo and video. And unfortunately, I'm not going to have that videographer at our wedding because it was over the budget, and that's okay. So I found another videographer that was much cheaper, and I'm also paying an extra fee to have all of the raw footage. So if I ever wanted to re-edit it, I can. And so yeah, there are things in my wedding that I'm having to shift based on the budget because budgets are real and I don't want to overstep on this wedding. I don't want to step out of budget. What do I wish people were more honest about when it comes to wedding costs? I mean, everyone knows that weddings are expensive, so I think people are pretty honest about that. So, actually, shockingly, what I was not expecting is that the most expensive part of the wedding has actually been the service fees. So, it's not the food, it's not the venue, it's none of that. It's the amount of people and staff that you're going to need at the event to make the event go seamlessly. And to me, like, that's really important because if you're going to have X amount of people, you also need to have the right amount of staff there to make everything flow smoothly. So that was a cost I wasn't anticipating coming in quite as high as it has, but it's okay. It is what it is. Next question. Am I doing a bridal shower and what do I envision for it? I'm not doing a bridal shower. I don't know anyone that has done a bridal shower. Is that a Southern thing? I'm not even sure what that would look like. So no, I'm not doing a bridal shower. Where are you going for your bachelorette? I'm not going anywhere for my bachelorette. I don't have a bachelorette planned. I don't want to have a bachelorette. I am having a destination wedding. I'm having all my friends and family fly down to the south of France in the summertime, and that's the bachelorette, you guys. Like, I didn't need to go anywhere else. I'm really happy. That's just like not a bit of me. So yeah, I decided no bachelorette. Is there anything about wedding planning that has made you feel anxious? Yeah, I talked about this a little bit, and I wonder if that's where this question came from. I am a very anxious girl, and the thing that I am the most nervous about for the wedding is walking down the aisle and the ceremony part. I get really, really bad stage fright, so that part of the wedding is absolutely terrifying to me, and my anxiety gets so bad that I'm like radiating out of my body. I'm like full shakes, like I can't control it, like palms sweating, just dripping sweat. And I feel a little faint and can faint. I have fainted many times. I'm a fainter. So that is the thing that I'm most nervous about is walking down the aisle and just like not fainting. But I'm just trying to take deep breaths and remember that everyone that's there and waiting for us to walk down the aisle, they're there to support us. They're not there to like have a gotcha moment. And it's going to be really good. And it's going to be over before we know it. Like we're trying to keep the ceremony short and sweet. So you can do anything for 10 minutes. We can do it. You know what I mean? What has helped me the most when things are feeling overwhelming with wedding planning? Well, the thing that's made me feel the best is my fiance, because he's like my anti-anxiety medicine. He just like takes the chip off. He is the best. And when I get anxious, which I do, and I get overwhelmed about planning this wedding, he just brings me back down to earth. So very grateful for him. And I hope that whoever you're marrying will also be your anti-anxiety medicine and just chill you out and make sure that everything's going to be okay and smooth and reassure you that it's going to be wonderful. And that's exactly what he does. So yeah. What are you doing to get into shape for the wedding? Good question. So for the civil wedding, I'm going to be wearing my grandmother's wedding dress that she wore when she was 19, when she married my grandfather 60 years ago. And it's actually right in there. And I tried on the dress over Christmas, and the dress fits perfectly. Like, hard to believe. I can't believe how well it fits. It just, not one stitch needs to be moved. It doesn't even be tailored. The height, like, everything is so perfect. And so because of that, I don't feel the pressure to lose any weight because then the dress would be too big, and I don't want to gain weight because then the dress would be too small. But so I'm kind of just trying to plateau and stay status quo. In general, I feel like I'm fairly healthy. I mean, I'm active. I like to go to Pilates. I say I like to play tennis, but I haven't played tennis since like October. But it's getting nicer in London, so I'll definitely be playing tennis as it gets warmer. I have also, because it's been so cold in London, I've been going to the gym because it's a lot closer than Pilates. So I'm starting to do a little bit of gym stuff. But yeah, I'm not really doing anything crazy. I'm not going to be going on crash diets. I don't want to lose any weight and I don't want to gain any weight. I just want to stay strong. And I'm really working on the strength side of it. Like, strong over skinny is my motto right now. So yeah, I'm staying active. I'm eating what I want. Just maybe a little less cheese here and there. But I'm such a chocolate girl that every night before I get into bed, I have to have chocolate, and that's not going to change. So yeah, I'm just trying to get stronger. I'm hoping that like I've got guns in my wedding dress and I just look jacked almost. What am I most excited about right now when I think about the wedding day? Oh, you know what? I'm just so excited about all of it. And I'm so excited to be my fiance's wife and to really make that commitment to each other in front of our loved ones and take that step. And I just, it's going to be so magical. So I think that's what I'm most excited about is just looking over at him at cocktail hour and being like, ah, we did it! We're married! Next question is, have you guys bought your wedding bands yet? We have not. So we have plans to go tuxedo shopping for G in the next 2 weeks, and that day we will also go ring shopping for him. I don't know if he wants to do a gold or a platinum band. I have no idea. I don't think he knows, so we're going to go do some of that shopping. And for my wedding band, I am also going to be wearing my grandmother's wedding band. So the grandmother whose dress I'm going to be wearing for the civil wedding, she passed away in October, and when that happened, my grandfather gave me her wedding band, which is beautiful. And so that's going to become my wedding band. It's currently at our jewelers in the Hamptons getting cleaned up. But yeah, that's going to be our wedding bands. And we are planning on engraving them with our wedding date. And mine will also have my grandparents' wedding date. So it'll have their wedding date on the inside, our wedding date on the inside, and then my fiance's will just have our wedding date on the inside. So that's really exciting. Next question is, how big is your wedding going to be? So we're still receiving RSVPs, so I don't know the final number, but as of right now, we're about 50% RSVPs, and everybody has said yes, with the exception of my friend and her fiance, who just this week told me that they are not able to make it. So that's exciting. More the merrier. I want everyone there. I'm so excited that everyone's RSVPing. Yes. We invited roughly like 100 and some people, and we were expecting 80 people. And based on how many RSVPs we've gotten back, I think we're going to be over 80, closer to 90, somewhere between 90 and 100 is probably where we're going to land, which is really exciting. Way more people than we ever thought. So that's actually a good tip. A lot of people had told me that if you invite 100 people, 70 people will show up. That's not been the case with us. So if you're going to invite 100 people, be prepared to potentially have 100 people, have everyone say yes. And I'm so excited everyone's saying yes, but it was definitely more people than we had initially anticipated, but like more people for the party. It's going to be so fabulous. So yeah, I think we're going to land between 90 and 100. So that'll be fun. Okay, last question is, how has your fiance helped you with your wedding planning? My fiance has been helpful, but also like really given me space. And so this is actually something that's interesting to talk about. I think that the best piece of advice I could give someone that's planning a wedding is to plan it with a small group of people. So there's something about having too many cooks in the kitchen across the board, but especially when it comes to planning a wedding like this, because I'm a people pleaser, and if I have too many opinions, I'm going to want to please everybody, and it's going to get confusing and overwhelming, and it's going to stress me out, and you know what I mean? And so the cooks in the kitchen for the wedding planning right now are me, my mom, the wedding planner, and my fiance. And my fiance like toggles in and out. He's not full on in it. He trusts my mom and I and the planner to handle the vibes and everything, but I definitely do run things by him. He's met the planner on Zoom. So he has been really helpful. He's also been like, babe, I trust you, handle it. Like, you're going to plan this incredibly. So he's been helpful, but he's also kind of been hands off in a great way. But he will be at the wedding tasting next week. He will be at the venue. He will help us pick out the linens and stuff. So he's about to get really involved next week. So that's exciting. Well, if you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much. This has been so fun to do a little solo episode. I've never done a solo episode before, and it feels like a really good way to mark this new era in the Catching Up with Kat podcast, the wedding era. And next week, I will have an incredible episode with Phoebe, who is a wedding designer here in London. And the week after will be the big wedding recap of all about France. And maybe I'll have my mom pop on and we'll talk about it. And yeah, I'm just so excited. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you. I love you. I love you. You know where to reach me on social media. You can always ask me more questions. I've loved interacting with everyone that's listening. I've received some of the nicest messages from people I've never met saying that they're listening to the podcast and that they're enjoying the content. And that's just been so nice. I feel like we're starting like a little sisterhood of bride to bees, and I love you guys. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.